What's going on Facebook, YouTube? It's Bakari Kamal back at you with another video. Um, it's been about a week or so since I made a video, so I thought I'd, make another vlog really quick to update you all. And this vlog is going to be about the application process. It's going to be about the 5 things Bakari learned from the Marine Corps OCS application process. So, it's going to be about, what I learned as opposed to what the application process actually consisted of, which was very extensive. It was a lot of work, but I feel like it's for a reason. They want to weed out the people who really don't want to be there. I mean, of course, everybody who does it wants to be there to a certain extent, but it takes a lot of work to actually get through the application process. So they definitely make it so that you have to do a lot of things. And I mean, some of the stuff they need, but it's definitely a lot more work than just going to try to do the enlisted application or something like that. So the first thing I learned from the application process um, is to look professional and talk professional. When you go in, of course, you're going to have to meet your recruiter, and you want to look as professional as possible, and you want to speak as professional as possible because you want to build a relationship with your recruiter, and you want your recruiter to be pulling for you in all ways. Of course, they're going to do that, but the more the more of a Marine you look like, or the more potential Marine you have inside of you, the more they're gonna really be pulling for you. You're gonna be like, man, I really want this guy to make it. So you want to do as best as possible to have a professional look and to talk professional. Um, when I first came into the recruiting office, I had dreadlocks, probably about this long, and I had dreadlocks, and I had facial hair, I had a beard, mustache, and everything. And by the time I finished the application process, my hair was cut. I had no facial hair, and I never went in with my earrings in, never. So you basically want to make sure that you look as much of a Marine as possible because you're gonna have to take pictures, you're gonna have to meet people, you're gonna have to go get things signed, you're gonna have to do a lot of different stuff. So that's the first thing I learned is to always be professional, look professional, talk professional, and carry yourself in a respectable manner. The next thing I learned from the application process was to stay punctual. You always want to be on time. If you tell a recruiter you're going to be somewhere, be there on time. If he asks you to be somewhere, make sure you're there on time. Make sure you're turning things in by the deadline. Very important. It's going to be very important when you become a Marine, when you're in OCS, or if you're in boot camp, recruiter boot camp, or anything. You need to be punctual. You need to make sure that you stick to your word, and if you say you're going to be somewhere, be there on time, do it on time. Early, always be early. So that was the next thing that I learned. It was very valuable because, it's helping me. The whole application process was helping me become a better person. So I can only imagine how going through OCS is going to help me become a better young man. Um, the third thing I learned is that Marines work as a team. Of course, you hear it, teamwork makes the dream work. You always hear it, but going through the application process, I seen it firsthand. I always went in and I thought it was just going to be me doing most of the work or maybe my recruiter doing most of it, but they had a whole team in place to help me get all the files that I needed or all the forms that I need to fill out. I was in contact with every single one of them. It was probably like 4 or 5 of them I was in contact with. Uh, so they always worked as a team. If it wasn't for all of them and me and even outside people that were helping me get this stuff in, I would have never finished the application process. So I learned firsthand that Marines always work as a team no matter what. The mission cannot get complete without a team effort, and that was a major learning experience right there. It's going to be very important, I'm sure, when I go to OCS to relieve myself of just trying to be the best I can. Of course, you want to be the best you can, but you want to also try and help others and learn from others, which which will kind of segue into my next point. My bad. Which will segue into my next point, which is the fourth point. The fourth thing I learned was to learn as much as you can and ask as many questions as possible. I'm still doing this, we're talking to my recruiters and everything. It'll show that you're interested. It'll show that you're thriving for knowledge you want to learn. And this is knowledge about the Marines. This is knowledge about life. This will just make you a better person throughout the application process. You want to read as many books about the Marines. You want to try to learn general orders. You want to try to learn everything you can about the Marine Corps, the rank structure, etc., etc. You want to learn. You want to build yourself up. You want to become a better person. It's all going to come into play once you leave and go to OCS. I'm assuming. I haven't went yet. I leave on June 1st, but I'm sure that learning things ahead of time, talking to people who went through OCS already, they said you need to learn as much as possible because you're going to be sleep deprived all the time, and the more you know, the more sleep you'll get, so you won't have to stay up late at night studying. So learn as much as possible and just become a better person throughout the application process. Make sure this is what you're dedicated to. You don't have to go out and party. You don't need to be going out to party. You need to be exercising, learning, exercising, learning, spending time with your family, exercising and learning. And that's what you need to do if you want to become a Marine officer or if you want to go to the military. And the last thing that I learned was to never give up. There was many times throughout the application process where I'm like, man, this is a lot of stuff, or, oh, I got to go get this dental form filled out. I got to get all this work done, or I got to do this. I got to get all these letters of recommendation. Oh, he needs this form by tomorrow. They just told me today. It's crazy. And if you have a mindset to never give up, you will make it. If you even start to think about, oh man, you know what, forget this. I'm going to just do something else. You're not going to make it. You always have to have that mindset like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it done. What's the next thing I have to do? Let me do it as quick as possible. So with that being said, that'll come in handy, I'm sure, 100% sure when I go to OCS, is to have that mindset that this is what I'm going to do. I have to do everything possible to get it done, no matter what. So those are like the 5 things I learned. Look, talk professional, stay punctual, Marines work as a team, learn and ask as many questions and get that knowledge, and never give up. And those are the 5 things I learned just from the application process. So imagine how much more I learned, from becoming a Marine, going to OCS, etc., etc. So great experience. It's already made me a better person. It's made me more professional, made me more fluent. I'm talking better. I've always been a person to try to speak as well as possible. I learned that from my parents, to try to present myself as well as I could. But this application process has raised me up another level, and I'm sure when I go to OCS, it'll raise me up another level. And progression is the key. I learned that from my friend Jonathan. He's in the Navy right now in Japan. Progression is always the key. You don't want to compete with other people. You want to compete with yourself. Always try to get to that next level so you can be the best person you can be. So those are the 5 things I learned from the application process. Everybody stay blessed. More videos coming soon. Peace.